Hi, this is Shihan Tim Leard, and this is going to be a quick review of some basic stances and terminology for Iaido. And make sure you watch all the way to the end because there will be bonus content. So the first stance is called Seigan no kamae. This is our basic fighting posture, right? My feet are roughly one stride apart, right foot in front, left foot behind, back heel is off the ground, right? The sword is out in front of me, so I don't want to get lazy and let the elbows drop like this. So I try to keep about a volleyball-sized hole right here between my arms and my body and the sword, right? The sword itself, it would be pointing roughly towards my partner's throat or my opponent's throat. So that means it's roughly even with my own throat here. So you see that angle right there. And my upper body is nice and straight. I would be moving around like so. So this is Seigan no kamae. From here, it's fairly easy to do a thrust. Now the next posture is going to be Joudan no kamae, right? So if I start in Seigan and I simply lift my sword up over my head, I'm in Joudan no kamae. I might leave my right foot forward or I might step back with it as I do that. And I can move around like this as well. Again, I got that sort of volleyball shaped or sized hole right up here. My hands are kind of out in front of my forehead or my hairline from here. And the sword is up over my head, but it's important that even though the tip is kind of back behind my hand, it's not lower than my hands. The tip remains higher than my hands. And so this is a starting position for a big dropping vertical cut, like so. So this is Joudan no kamae. Now the next basic stance is Hasso no kamae. Right? If I took my Joudan no kamae and I simply moved my hands over here to the side of my head, almost like I'm answering a phone, right? And the edge of the tsuba wants to be about even with my earlobe right here. Now my elbows, in the movies, they stick their elbows out, but for our purposes, we want our elbows in because we don't want any extra targets, right? And you can see that the angle of the sword is such that, again, the tip is a little bit back behind, right? But it's not like dropped super low like this, all right? And so I keep those hands right here. Elbows kind of resting against the body, and I can move around and be ready to cut from here. So notice my right foot is back, and this is the beginning position for a diagonal cut, which we call kissaki. Now, bonus content. If I kind of work around the clock and drop the hands to my waist with the sword almost straight back behind me this time, with the end of the handle, the tsukageshiro pointing forward, this is Shihan no kamae, and this is preparing for a horizontal cut. If I drop it down a little bit more, so now the tip is hanging towards the floor, it's also pointing a little bit behind me. This is Gedan Hasso no kamae. So Hasso no kamae, but the low version, so we add the word Gedan. Okay, and then the final stance is going to be Gedan no kamae, or low stance. This is the end of a big cut, but it can also be a trick, like a lure. Look how low my sword is. Look how open my head is. Come and get me. Oh, but I know you're going to do that, so I've got something prepared. So again, we have Seigan no kamae, Joudan no kamae, Hasso no kamae, Shihan no kamae, Gedan Hasso no kamae, and then Gedan no kamae.